So this is a Kawasaki Ninja 250 Ninjet or whatever, the last model they made, the one that actually looked modern, actually looked nice. Wasn't the 80s style one, but it was a parts bike that came with the 250 my girlfriend bought. So we went to pick up her bike. This bike was there beside it, and the guy essentially just threw this in because it was the parts bike for that, and he didn't need it anymore. So he gave us that and gave us a couple, like the parts off it, like the rad wasn't on it, the exhaust wasn't on it. He gave us that stuff with it, but they were replacement parts for the other bike that just happened to be what this one needed, because he took those parts off of this one before the parts showed up that he had. So this bike's been in quite a few accidents from just going over it quickly. Like, if you actually look at the exhaust here, it's all scratched up from sliding or falling off. I'm not quite sure. The forks are, I don't know if you can see it, but they're bent. It was in a front end collision at some point, and the forks at the bottom, just under this point here, if you look back, they're bent. It's slid on both sides, so it's been dropped. If you look at here, this has been ground flat. It'll focus. Whatever, that side's been ground flat. This one's much worse. I've painted them so you can't see it as well. Same with the end caps. This one's scratched up. It won't ever focus on what I want it to. So that one's scratched up because this thing, to get it around, it's not legal on the road, so I literally have to pick it up and put it in the back of my truck. But getting it out of the truck is more difficult because of the size of it. I can't bend my knees. So when I go to put it on the ground, I kind of have to like bend over and literally place it on its side, and then I can pick it up. So it's never been dropped. It just gets placed on its side when I take it out. But as for the tank, this tank's off of an XFR. It's actually apparently a very, very rare tank. I think it's the rarest XFR tank you can get, because my buddy's really into dynas, and he said it's like this thing I could get a couple grand for. That's how rare this tank is. I don't know that. I have the trim piece for it somewhere, but that's just how I have it on the thing right now. It was already the green, so I didn't have to actually paint it to match, so that was nice. The headlight is just some random headlight you would get for a Harley. I'm not sure exactly what year, maybe off of the dyna also. I didn't get it off of dyna. There was another like hardtail CB350 that came with all this shit, but I ended up fucking just getting rid of that. But I kept the tank and the headlight for this thing, so I had to make some brackets right here to make it fit, so that it would, like, the tank's completely solid. It's one with the bike. And then to mount it, I don't know if the seat's not screwed on. To mount it, that's the hole right there. There was already a hole there. I don't think that hole is original. Like, I think that hole, actually it might be, but there's already a hole in it, so I just drilled a hole into the frame of this, and that's how it's mounted. And the inside there, both sides. The thing's been completely stripped of any fairing, but as you can see, it's got different pegs. I actually think that peg is off of a 300, because when I bought it, the bolt holes didn't quite match up. That's why the one bolt's a different one, because I had to shove a zip tie in there to make up the space, because it's kind of off to the left a little bit. And that's also the back brake. If you see there, that's the I believe the master cylinder for the back brake. It is part of the back brake. So that needs to be solid if you want to be doing wheelies or anything. That's the only way you're going to be able to stop. The only thing that sucks if you're can't, like a Harley, like I have a Harley also, you can't hook underneath because they bend quite a bit, but they're different pegs, because I actually had to take the peg off of this one originally because my girlfriend crashed her bike. So I had to do some more or less part swapping for the parts bike, and then one day got bored and was like, let's see if I can get this thing running. I had all the things I needed, so I got her going. And then if you look in here, I got the carburetor. I took all that out, put on the filters there for the dual carb. But in the process, I had to remove a million vacuum lines, and right here is the crankcase. And every time you do a wheelie, oil just comes pouring out of that thing, gets all over the back tire, and then you're sliding around every time you try to do a corner. I've never crashed a bike, thank God. But I'm sure I will at one point. And then it was actually funny, the first time I put this tank on and was riding around, I didn't have the, where's the catch can? The catch can, because that's where the oil goes now that it comes out of the crankcase. So yeah, it's got all the vacuum lines routed and plugged off where they need to be. They go to the crankcase, or from the crankcase, the oil goes into there. But it was funny because when I first put this pepcock on, I had to switch the pepcock from a straight to a 90, and this is the cheapest one I could buy. It didn't quite seal properly, so it was leaking gas on my one side, and oil was getting all over the tire on the other side. So all I needed to do was lean one way, slide out, and essentially catch myself on fire from the amount of gas leaking out. I got home, one leg's covered in gas, one leg's covered in oil. I thought that was pretty funny. But also this was all warped. I had to take a wrench to that, straighten it out. So this thing has seen its day. But she runs great. Still drives straight. Served the purpose. I just wanted a bike that I could learn to do wheelies on, and a 250 definitely will do a wheelie. No struggle at all from these things. These 250s are amazing 250s compared to any other 250 you'll ride. Got some spare tires for it. But yeah, that's the bike. It's pretty fun. Everything on it works. Just winterizing it now, so I figured I'd give it a tour.